Hey folks, Chris here with Nadab Africa once again, and we are just a short time away, 2 days away from events that are supposed to be taking place in Senekal in the Northern Free State in South Africa. This is a follow-up to the initial arraignment hearing that took place on the 6th of October but was not completed for two suspects in the domestic terrorism, political violence, assassination, murder of 21-year-old Brendin Horner. Yeah, that's right, I said domestic terrorism. There's a lot of speculation that there's some involvement with cattle rustling, but really the facts don't support that. Whether it was cattle rustlers or those involved in political violence, it really doesn't matter. The message was clear: get off the land or you'll be murdered in a violent fashion. Young Brendin Horner was stabbed multiple times, beaten profusely, beaten about the head, and then murdered, hung from a pole with the knife that was used to stab him left in the ground at his feet to send a very clear message to those who live on the land in South Africa. Well, on the 6th of October, thousands of South Africans, white and black, showed up in support of that particular situation, and they're fed up with the situation in South Africa regarding farm murders. Well, now, in the midst of that, a lot of people are offering advice about what to do on the 16th. Well, I've been very clear on my streams, and I've told people you need to make sure that you're very careful about going to Senekal. But listen, here's the bottom line, folks. The economic freedom fighters have been toying. Their leaders have been calling for violence and attacks against people who show up there, attacking people based on their skin color, racist, violent, domestic terrorist actions. No charges preferred against Julius Malema and the economic freedom fighters. No action being prepared against them by the ruling African National Congress. What is that all about? Well, folks, here's the bottom line. 26 years since the new dispensation. Thousands of farmers, their spouses, their children, mutilated, disfigured, beaten, killed with blowtorches, crowbars, knives, hung, gang raped, mutilated, thousands of them. And not a finger lifted by the South African government under the African National Congress. Not a finger lifted. Not a word said about the fate of South Africans' rural areas by the economic freedom fighters. Very little said by the international community. An occasional tweet from Donald Trump, one or two articles about it in British papers, Australian papers, that's about it. There is collusion between the international media, the domestic media in South Africa, and the political leadership of the African National Congress. There must be. Now, maybe they're not sitting in a room and coming out with plans, but why is it that this issue is ignored, or there are constant cases of moral equivalency? Well, if you're angry about farm murders, why don't you care about black South Africans? Those are lies. Those are distortions. That's not true. People who care about farm murders, by and large, also care about the violent nature of South African society and the 60 people murdered each and every day in South Africa. Watch my channel. You'll see me talk about the horrific things that happen to all South Africans, not simply to farmers. But there is definitely something orchestrated here in denying this phenomenon. That's the bottom line. We saw President Cyril Ramaphosa issue a letter on the 12th of October in which he said there's no evidence to support there's efforts to drive people off the land. Well, that's a little hard to swallow, because what studies do you have? He cites studies. How can you have a study about whether this is actually an orchestrated campaign when your own police refuse to lay this out as a separate crime? So these murders and robberies are listed as robberies and or murders, not for what they are. So how can you parse these things out and determine what's what? It's utter nonsense. Back to the events on the 16th of October in Senekal in the Northern Free State. I've speculated, because I believe that's going to be the case, that they will move the venue to another location. I've suggested that it may be Bethlehem. I'm not sure. We don't know. And we don't know if there's actually going to be anybody in Senegal from the government in a court case there on the 16th. Maybe there will be, maybe there won't. We shall find out. But the bottom line is this, folks. Wherever the events are held, there will be some people from the economic freedom fighters who show up with the intent to disrupt, harass, undermine, and cause chaos. You need to be cognizant of that. Also, if people go to these events, you also need to be aware that you are targets. Even though you're peacefully assembling and you're not committing any crimes, you are targets for the media who will lie. So this is my call to South Africans, white, black, colored, and Indian, who show up in support of the situation and showing your revulsion at the violence taking place in South Africa. Have your mobiles there. Record everything. Take photographs. Take video, so that it's available for independent media to accurately report what is happening there. Make yourself available to independent media. Do not let emotion rule yourselves. Also, make sure that if you've left a farm or home behind and family there, that there's some sort of security for them, because they will become tempting targets for these thugs on this day. And expect that no matter what happens, whether you're peaceful, whether you're honest, whether you do nothing wrong, you'll be portrayed in a less than positive fashion. That's reality. So you need to support independent media that's trying to help get the word out about what's really happening in South Africa while its government sits back and does nothing. Here's the bottom line, folks, with all of this. 26 years, no action. Recently, 41,000 motorcycle riders showed up in Gauteng province alone, driving around past the union buildings. 41,000. And now we have, after that, people showing up and driving. Well, folks, I'm getting interrupted here by people cutting the grass. So I'm going to cut the video short there. Anyway, just be careful about what you do on Saturday. I'll follow this up with another one.